Welcome back to Sex, Love, and Relationships. I'm your host, Vanilla Spice, and today I have another great guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Mina Munche.
Oh, any social media?
Yeah, Instagram, Black Nikon Chick. So it's BLACKNIKONS or CHICK. And it's Nikon because that's the type of camera I use.
Oh, excuse me. She fancy, y'all. She fancy. All right. So today, once again, it's Pride Month, and we are going into the lesbian topic. Juicy topics. I love the ladies. So, let's talk about your upbringing, your childhood. How was that growing up?
I grew up in like a traditional, like Black religious background.
Mm-hmm.
Brought up Christian. My dad was like a minister and stuff, so I spent a lot of time in church, like Bible study on Tuesdays, Thursdays. I had to go to choir practice. Saturdays, if you had the church council, you was there all weekend, and then 2 services on Sunday. So it was a lot of church stuff, but obviously we didn't have a choice. We're just kind of put into it. And yeah, so that's pretty much the background.
Okay. Very religious background. Woo! Goodness.
My dad used to answer the phone, praise the Lord.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Hallelujah, how you doing? Okay. So, how or when did you know that you're different? How did that come about?
That's something like when people always ask, oh, were you born that way? And I think I say you are because from a young age, if you like boys or girls, because you navigate towards that, what you like at a young age. You do know yourself. So at a young age, I had like an infatuation with like a lot of like older girls or women I would be in kind of, it was not sexual, obviously. It was just more infatuation where I'm like, oh, I really want to be around them. I really like them, but I didn't know what that was, and even like in, elementary school, girls, I think they're cute. I think I had I used to hump some of my friends and stuff like that, when I was younger, but I don't know. It's just something that I knew, and then it was also little boys too, but it was mostly girls. But that's something I knew relatively at a young age of what I liked. And that's not something I acted on probably until like 16. But of course had crushes and stuff at
but like it never really came out. But you knew. So going back to saying that you feel like a lot of people like are born, being like either homosexual or knowing what they like. A lot of people will disagree or kind of fight you on that, on that notion. Me personally, I kind of agree. But in a sense, I feel like depending on your upbringing, that plays a part of it. And then on top of that goes with like what you gravitate towards. And your attraction could, I guess your upbringing tells you you're supposed to like men, or if you're a guy, you're supposed to like women. And at the same time, I think there's whereas like what people that are bisexual, they gravitate towards both. But for someone like you gravitated towards women. But professionally, as a therapist, I definitely agree that I feel like that's something that you definitely know from young. I don't think and then at the same time, like some type of trauma, at least that's what people say. Trauma has to have happened for you to become this, become that. And I don't think that's exactly the case. So I think that a lot of people will fight you on that type of notion. But what would you say to those types of things? People that would sit there and argue with you about that.
Oh, that's definitely been an argument. But I told people oh, you can't know what you like at a young age. You can't know this. And I just always have to flip it back on them. I said, what did you like? Well, how did you know that you liked that? Because I did. Well, because that's what you are attracted to. You knew what you liked at a young age. That's just like, I'm not transgender. I don't know what goes on, but I know they feel like they're in the wrong body. And people like, a kid can't feel like they're in the wrong body. You don't know. You've never been in the wrong body.
Exactly.
So you can't speak on that. But that's my argument when people say, even people like, oh, you just haven't had the, you know, I hate that. Like, oh, you haven't had the right man or blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
A lot of people say like, oh, were you treated badly by a man? That's why you like.
Or were you molested or were you
yes.
something like that? But then you ask them, I'm like, have you tried anal sex with the man? Nah. Then how you know you like it? You know what I mean? How you know you don't like it? When I ask stupid questions like that, then they just get quiet because there's nothing. You can't spit it back. So like you're asking me dumbass questions, and I'm like, they're dumb questions. They're truly dumb. It's like, but like, that's just my argument.
It's like you have to ignore people's ignorance because there are a lot of people that sit there and ask these questions, and they don't. To them, it doesn't sound ignorant, but it's like to other people that are already in the position. It's like, do you not hear the type of questions that you're asking?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not to be rude. It's just like some people really don't know, but that's how I hit people when they argue that. You know,
it's like
it is
going towards like changing the subject a little bit. Like me having albinism, it's like, oh, like how did that happen to you? Like, is there something wrong with you? What the fuck? Why does it tell me something wrong with me? Like I gotta like, are you kidding?
Exactly, because they just. Yeah, like the girl that sells the mink eyelashes. We're friends on Facebook, and she always shares her stories about people like, oh, you're albino. No, really?
Exactly. Like, what else can I do? like, so like you automatically have to be white, right? I heard that one. Like,
I think I saw that with you. You identify as white or something? Not you, but somebody's asking like, you identify as white? You're like, no.
Exactly. I'm like, I have to be white because I look white.
Yeah. They're like, no, I'm Latina, but thank you.
They're like, no, it's not possible. You have to be white. Yeah. Okay. Ignorant. All right. I'll let you have it, and I'll just walk away.
But let me have a kid. I guarantee it come out black. So.
Exactly. I'm like, if you only knew, I'm a nigga on the inside always. Full blown.
Have a kid with me. Have a baby by me.
Exactly. Like, you won't be surprised what come out.
I thought you were white.
That's not my kid. I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever. All right. So, what was your coming out story like?
I actually I was kind of robbed of that because I had an ex-girlfriend who, I mean, she was immature because we were in high school. So she was childish, and I think she was mad or something because I didn't come over and I said I wasn't coming. I don't remember what it was, but I know she called and told my dad. She gave some fictitious name and said that I was bisexual. So my parents met me at the door, said, come upstairs, we need to talk. I'm like, what? They're like, who is so-and-so from so-and-so? And she gave a fake name. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Well, she's talking about, you know, you're bisexual or you gay or something. And I couldn't like avoid it, you know? So it was, I lived with my dad, my adolescence life, and my mom before that, but I still was visiting. So I didn't live with my mom at that time. But my mom, I just kind of came out to my mom, maybe like 6 years ago. But she should have known. It was just like, I'm my mother's only child, but then I'm the oldest on my dad's side. So it was kind of like, like you should know, like, come on, you should know. Because like, you know, well, you don't hear me talking about guys. I was with the same girl at that time for like 9 years, and you're thinking like, you know, what's happening. And but I told her, and now I think she's pretty comfortable because she's really close with my wife. And when I say stuff, sometimes she make that face, you know, where she don't want to talk about it, but you know what I mean? So I was kind of robbed from my coming out with my dad because I was outed. And then with my mom, I just told her when I was ready, even though I'm pretty sure she knew.
What did your dad say when?
That always affected our relationship. It's still, we don't really talk, but recently we don't really talk. But it's because every time a conversation comes up, we're talking everything that's wrong in my life is because it's because you're gay. You know, you didn't get that job because you're gay, or you know, you didn't. It's just it's always
those types of
but
conversations.
yeah, and it's just like I don't like when that takes over a life. It just, I don't want. I'm like I don't understand. I understand if you don't. I respect that you don't approve of it. That's cool,
Yeah.
but you know it's made it hard for like me. Even like I've been married to my wife for 6 years
Mm-hmm.
or 5 years. Been together 6 years, but for 5 years, but like still can't like I can't just take her to my dad's house
Mm-hmm.
because he's like, oh no, I don't want that in my house. So I always feel kind of like, you know, kind of like, okay, well, Thanksgiving, that's not going to happen at my dad's house. But my other family, like my aunts and uncles and, you know, my grandmother and stuff when she was alive on his mother,
Mm-hmm.
they were welcoming. They, you know, most of my aunts and uncles know, and they're accepting of me and it's accepting of my wife. And, you know, it's fine, but it's just like he just is not on board.
So it's like you won't go and see him. Like it's
No, because it puts that I put my wife in a weird situation. Like, why am I gonna fly out? Because I'm from Portland, Oregon originally.
mm-hmm.
So why am I gonna fly all the way to Portland, pay for a hotel when I shouldn't have to pay for a hotel? I should be able to stay there with
Yeah.
my wife. And why am I gonna fly all the way to Portland and leave my wife at a hotel just to go over to the house? And that's not
Yeah.
it's separation, and I don't like that. So I choose my relationship with my wife over that because that's not cool.
Yeah. And it's been a couple of years now, and it's like you still haven't chosen to come to terms with who I am as an individual, and with my partner that I have for this amount of years. Not like this was a phase, as some people would say. This is someone I'm actually living my life with. This is someone I've been with for XYZ amount of years. You can't accept what I am. Like we don't have to talk about it. Like we don't have to flaunt it.
Yeah,
But
that's
just like,
yeah.
accept me, and it's just like, it is what it is. Like I accept you, accept your wife, and it's just like let's just move forward. We won't talk about it further.
Or if it's like, you know, I don't approve what you're doing, but you know, I love you, I love her, and even though it doesn't matter like what you look like I'm pretty feminine for the most part, and my wife is really feminine, so it was not even obvious. Like I have like some stud with some waves, you know, that looks just like, you know, that looks more like a masculine female. It's not even that. So it's just like it's not even obvious. So I don't get it. You
I
know?
think it's just like his religious background is just like very like no, I can't do it. And it's
Yeah, he
like
can't let that go.
like I just can't do it. Like I want to, but my religious tendencies is telling me no. And
Basically.
there are going to be some people like that, and it's unfortunate that it's your father, someone that gave you life. It's just sad that it's like that, and I'm sorry to hear like that it's like that.
It's been for so many years that it's like at this point, it's like I learned to kind of just put that aside and move on. It used to affect me a lot, but I'm just like, whatever. I can't just let that dictate life.
You definitely can, and it's like if you do, that means you're going to allow other people in the world to affect you, and society does play a role in like how homosexuality is looked at, and it's quite sad that maybe even during this time it has changed, like the shift that it's changed because it's a little, I don't want to say accepting, but a lot of people are not really like, oh my God, like, that's gross. It's just now it's like, it is what it is.
No, like in the Bronx, I see like there's these two real feminine guys, one with a mean walk all the time. And I tell them, I say, you are so cute. But they walk and they're very feminine, and this is in the Bronx. Nobody mess with it. I watched it the other day. I watched them both walk, you know, through a crowd of people. Nobody said anything.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, so I do think that it's more accepting. Lots of kids now, like, because like when I have children, and probably your son, I don't know how old he is, a lot of people have two parents that are the same sex. nowadays. It's the norm. It's legal, you know, so it's normal.
Illegal, people still doing it anyway.
Well, no, I'm saying it's legal for like marriage and stuff now. So, you know, you have a lot of weddings. You have it's just, to me, it's the norm. You know,
is. I feel like it is. And I was just having a conversation with someone I interviewed just before. I was saying, like, you know, for my son, I would educate him on every sex that's out there. I'm going to introduce you on what's out there, because I don't want you to be confused. Like, what is that? Like, you're going to know. There's not just heterosexuality out here. Like, there's every type of sexuality out here. Be prepared to see Tom and John, Susan and Becky, Tom and Susan and John and Becky together. You are scared. Everyone gets together. So don't be alarmed. This is what happens.
Yep.
This is how it goes. And I feel like parents should educate their kids, but it just all depends on when and the timing. I don't feel like, and I feel like in schools they should do it as well, but do it at a proper grade.
Yeah.
I have to go into full depth, but this is how the world is. Don't try to hide it from what is. You want them to know about how the sun and the plants and this and that, but you won't let them know how all these different types of sexualities is out there, when this is like legit shit that they gonna see on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I don't like when people are like, oh, when you have a little boy and is a little girl, and you're like, oh, is that your girlfriend? Like, you're sexualizing kids early, but they're saying that we're sexual, or we're pushing the gay agenda on kids.
That's what a lot of people think. Like, oh, like you're pushed, like even TV shows, different movies and things like that. Like, they are pushing LGBTs on our kids. And I'm like, how are they pushing anything on it's television, it's movies. They see it, so it's okay for them to see two people on TV just making out. So they should make out at a young age. Is that that's okay? But it's like, oh, but they're pushing it. I feel like they're pushing kids to make out at a young age. They should go to house parties at 10 and play spin the bottle and kiss John. Becky should kiss John all the time, because it's okay. That's heterosexual, because it's fine. But if John and John want to make out, oh, hell no, it's a big ass ruckus. Cut that.
Yeah, because I'm always asking, like, how does it? I ask people the question too, like when they put, like, you know, hateful comments on Facebook, or, you know, like someone's wedding, two gay guys, and then they'll be like, oh, that's disgusting, and, you know, we're pushing this on blah blah blah, pushing the agenda. And I'm like, really? I said, how does it affect you? I just always ask people, how does seeing that affect you? It makes you sick to your stomach? Okay, don't look. Are they hitting on you? No. Do they talk to you? No. Do they touch you? No. So what does it have to do with you? Like, why does it bother you so bad? Like to see, like, oh, like our game, like, you know, going what D Wade did with his son or daughter, you know, it's interesting. And like I got really mad at everybody after Boozy said that, because I'm looking at Boozy's comments, not Boozy's comment, his comment, but people are leaving under his video about, you know, let him keep his dick, and I'm like, can you guys educate yourselves? As if, one, this little child is 12, they can't actually get gender reassignment surgery until the age of 21. I said they have to have extensive therapy before they even decide to remove their penis, you know? So I'm like, he's 12. He's identifying as a female. He can change his mind.
That he shouldn't have agreed to let him want to change identity. They should have let him continue out to be a boy. And if he still agrees to do that, maybe by like 17, 18, then okay. I'm like, that's a father going by what his son, daughter wants to go by. Let him stand by his child. And if his child feels this way, what makes you think he's going to change his mind in like 5 years?
and he's still living as a boy. So he just identifies as a girl. He gets his nails done. He might wear girl shoes. I know he wears nails. He don't wear wigs. He might wear makeup. I don't know. He looks like a boy still to me, but respecting what he wants, you know? And
I haven't really followed up on it. It was just, remember when it first came out, a lot of people was talking about it. I haven't followed up on it.
There's nothing even to follow up on. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. She goes by Zaya. That's it. That's it.
So like, all nothing, we're doing is just changing pronouns. That's all we're doing.
There's nothing, nothing physical can change with a child. You can't.
It's like everyone gave him so much backlash. Like, you shouldn't do that as a father. Like, what kind of father?
But look at Boozy.
I'm like, you hired. Are you like? That's a good ass father to support their child. That's what they're supposed to do.
I mean, because the suicide rate is so high amongst these young kids, and then Boozy comes back and he admits to paying grown women to give his child a blowjob, and his child's 12, and you had a grown woman and your nephew, and you had sex with her too. But people are like, yeah, that's how you make a man.
Who are you? Like, ask yourself these
like you're
questions.
Like, you just created a sex ring. You're a predator. Like, what did you do? Like, it's just
you're yourself on what you're doing. Like, he's doing the easiest thing, and you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Like,
exactly. So people, it's just, I don't know.
That's society for you. That's how society works, and society thinks that only heterosexual relationships are supposed to survive, and everything else is not allowed. It's just not allowed. It's just not for it. It's like, you better get with the times, because 2020, everyone comes out with the rainbow flags flying. They cool. They do what they need to do. They pay their bills. They go have regular jobs. They do what the fuck they need to do. They don't bother nobody, the same way how just regular heterosexual people don't bother nobody.
They just go about their business. That's it.
Exactly. That's it. I'm a regular ass human being just like you. And we just love two different things, and that's perfectly fucking fine.
Exactly.
Simple. Why can't people have the same type of open-mindedness? People are so closed. And I can't stand that about society. So closed-minded and just negative.
True.
And that's why people are so miserable and angry. That's exactly why. It's not just because the stock market is down and, oh, I didn't get my paycheck. You're miserable. You're upset. And just, you're worried about, because Becky and Susan kissed on the corner. Everything has gone wrong in the world. Anyway, so you mentioned that you are married. Where did you meet your lovely wife, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, Plenty of Fish.
Okay. Oh my God, I haven't heard of POF in forever.
Yeah, it was POF, the summer of 2014.
Oh, so shit. That's when POF was popping back in the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody that I actually pretty much been with, I've met on some type of platform. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just easy. I don't know, but that just.
It's like to meet someone online.
I don't know. It just happened that way, because it just happened. Like, my first girlfriend. I don't even remember if you know Live Links. I got on, when you call the number late at night.
Yes.
Yeah, and I pretended I was, obviously older. And then I went on the men's side, because you get it free for 30 minutes or an hour. And, we started talking that way, then we met. But I was only 16. But
oh God.
Yeah. So that was pre-social media day. Cause I'm pushing 37 next month. So
what?
So I have.
You're gorgeous. Thank you. I would have guessed. Are you sure? No.
I am.
There's no way. I literally thought like 30.
No, I'm pushing 37. So that's why people are like, Live Links. I said, yeah, Live Links.
I'm like, I remember that. like, I was young for that one though.
Yeah, but I was like 15. I was doing that in middle school, like 12, 13, calling those, just being weird, you know.
I
But just
remember those, like calling up those chat lines, whatever. Like
chat lines, yeah. That's what
oh my gosh, she took it back to the chat.
yes, to the chat lines. So it was that, and then some other social media thing. It was some app back in, like, I don't even remember what it was. Some chatting thing. I met my last one, and that was a long relationship. And then it just, I don't know. I just meet people online, probably because I'm online all the time. So it's not like intentional. Just like, yeah.
So who contacted who? Did you contact her?
Yeah, I contacted her, and then I had missed her call. And then she wouldn't give me her number. She was so weird. She wouldn't give me her number, so she would call from a private number. So I missed her. I missed her call.
Stalk her.
Yeah, well, she didn't. I guess because she wanted to see how I was first. But I missed her call. She left a message, and I was like, oh. So I had to get back on. I was like, hey, I got your call. So I don't remember if I talked to her that night or not. But and then we ended up meeting probably like maybe like a week later. And then just I was living on Long Island, so, and she's in the Bronx, so I was like driving a lot. You know? And then she was like, oh, you know, you could just stay here in the Bronx, you know, for now. And we ended up moving in with each other because I worked in Queens, so I was deep in like Suffolk County, so it made more sense anyway. But yeah, so I contacted her because like I think I was like the first woman she dated, so it was.
You was her first.
I'm always everyone's first somehow. I have no idea how that happens.
So like, tell me how that was. Like, I'm so interested. If you don't mind, just go. So she always dated. Like, was she bisexual or was she completely straight?
No, straight, but I guess maybe curious.
Okay.
And so I guess it sparked that curiosity because according to her, I was just supposed to be fun.
You were supposed to be the good time, and then it's like, oh, you turned into the real good time.
Yeah, and somehow we just stuck.
Oh, that is so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That sounds so cute. Oh my goodness. So like, okay, so you guys are dating and everything. So like, who popped the question?
Oh, I did. I think I did that over Skype actually.
Oh my gosh, Skype, really?
Well, because her ass didn't have an iPhone. She was stuck with that, what was that, Galaxy. Was obsessed with that Galaxy. I was like,
don't you dare try to talk shit about the Galaxy.
Well, it's just much easier. So it was just over Skype because I wanted, you know, sometimes you wanted to see each other, you know, and so I just asked. I was like, hey, you would be my girlfriend. And that was it. And she was like, yeah. So.
So cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so sweet.
I know, it was cheesy. But
sometimes it's the smallest things that's like, oh my gosh, she asked me to Skype. I think it's cute. Sometimes back in the day, it's like, as long as they ask me, like, I don't give a fuck how you ask me. Like,
But you asked me. But you asked me.
Like, I'm the girlfriend. So, bam. That is so cute. So, like, how long after, like, did you realize that you really wanted to be with this woman for, like, marriage materials?
Yeah, it was probably a year later.
Oh.
Yeah. So they say women move fast, but I think we move faster because well, for one, I don't put a timestamp on love because I thought about that, like from previous relationships, because I'm always like a long hauler. Like I'm never one to serial date. Like if you know me and I have I'm in a relationship, it's always like long term. Like my first one was 4 years, last one was 9 years. This one has been 6 years so far. So like with me, I thought about like my past relationships, even though I was younger. I was like, yeah, why waste time and be engaged for 3 years? Like what's the point of being engaged for, you know? So I think like that's how I was thinking. And I was like, I just don't want to do that again. Like, don't waste the time. Just do it.
Okay, so why not?
Yeah.
I like that type of attitude. And I think women are very like we kind of move. Not really, I want to say fast, but it's like we kind of know what we want.
I think we as creatures, feminine creatures, we know what we want already. You don't usually have to try to fight it out of like, or what, I don't know what the word to use, but it's not like you're trying to like make the other person like, not all men, but some men you have to like really get it out of them. Like, why won't you marry me? Like a Chrissy and huh?
You gotta be pulling teeth with men all the time.
Yeah, like a Jim
like
Jones.
Shit out.
Yeah, like he has never proposed to Chris. No, Chrissy proposed to him, and they've never even gotten married. You know what I mean? So it's like that, and I don't know. Sometimes maybe men are afraid of commitment. Men are just different. So I think that
I think majority of men are afraid of commitment.
Yeah, so women aren't. We just generally kind of know, for the most part, and not all the time, but we know what we want, generally speaking, and we can give more to each other that you might not get from the male counterpart.
Yes. So. And that's why I think a lot of men say that, like, let's just say, like, if you're with a man and then you start to have a threesome with another woman, a lot of men are very skeptical because it's like, she's going to immediately want to be with women because the women know a woman's body. Like, we know what women want, and we can connect, not just sexually, we could connect on a different type of physical
level. Emotionally and mentally.
Like, men are like, you guys are missing something. Like, y'all don't have that. Like, y'all have the puzzle piece, but like other women, like, we just have that snapback. Like, we're like magnets. Instantly click.
So yeah, I think of it like, it's weird because I don't know how it would be like if I were like married to a guy. Like, would he be my best friend that we did everything with each other? I don't know. But it's like having your best friend, but then you're like, oh, but it's like sometimes like even though we're married, sometimes like it's a mode where it just feels like we're just, like you're hanging with your friend. But then you remember, oh, that's also my lover. So it's like that. So I think that's cool.
Okay. So you never like wanted to ever, like, well, for both of you, if you don't mind me asking, like, you don't see yourself having a threesome with a man?
No, I don't think. I've had threesomes in the past with old relationship, but it was with the girl. I don't like them, but it's just because it's like I feel like someone's always left out, and then it's just weird. One person feels. I think if you're really secure in your relationship to do that, then go ahead. But I know in our relationship, wouldn't do that now. But
you guys are solid. Y'all ain't no one coming in here.
No.
Not even another woman?
I don't know. I can ask that question. Angie, would you ever have a threesome with another woman? No, we talked about that already. We did? She said no, we talked about that already. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. Would I allow her to? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Let's see. It's for something for the future. Who knows? Okay. And finally, last question. If you had to look back at your younger self, what advice would you give yourself? Like, where you are right now, what advice would you give yourself back then?
Just in general, or like gay advice?
It could be at either, anything.
Well, it's funny, we're talking about that, like about regrets. Like, I don't think I have regrets, but there's things where I wish I could go back and be like, don't fuck that up, Like, I guess the only one I can really think about is I was it's nothing to do with gay stuff, but I was an intern with promotions at Z100, and not the one here, but in Portland, but it's the same company, but still a big company. Z100. I got all the tickets to give to people. I drove around the little car with the, radio station logo on it. I set up events, and I got to meet stars backstage. And then one day they had this thing called like Zoo Lights, which is probably like the festival lights at the Bronx Zoo during Christmas. And I said, I don't want to go. I never called in and said I didn't want to go. I just never showed back up. And I think about that after months of doing it, like getting into concerts for free, giving my friends concert tickets, just lots of stuff, you know, lots of perks. And I'm like, man, I fucked that up. So I was just talking about this the other day. I said, I wish that I could go back and tell my old self, don't fuck that up. Because I have a great voice where I could have been on the radio. So, you know what I mean?
You
like
fucked that up.
No, I really did. I even did a commercial for them that when it come up, and I'm like, oh, that's my commercial. Turn it up, you know, for a club and stuff. So that's I wish I could go back and tell myself, my 21-year-old self, Mina, go to the Zoo Lights.
Do it. Even if you go to the show face for an hour, just show your face and then leave.
But it just shows the ignorance. I'm like, I did a call, no show. And I never went back, never called, just because I didn't feel like going. And I'm like, just think about, you know, because I'm into like creative stuff right now. Like I do photography, videography, and things like that. And I'm like, gosh, you know, and I've always wanted to still be on the radio. You know, that's what a podcast. I thought about a podcast and stuff too. But I'm like, imagine if I would have just stuck with it. Where could I have been today? I could have been like DJ NB or something, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You could have been like,
or Charlemagne.
Girl, hook a shorty up. I'm trying to be on the radio too. I got to the radio.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like, I have that good voice. So
I feel like I'm meant to be like, don't get me wrong, like I do these video podcasts, but I really could see myself on radio. Like, I'm like, yeah, like Vanilla Spice.
Yeah. You'll be doing the late night thing. Hey, it's Vanilla Spice, and we're here with the slow jams.
Raunchy shit. That's me. Real reckless and nasty. Like I'm that triple X rated type of time. Like you having your kids up, but you contact and listen to me.
You gotta be a serious satellite radio station. Where they got to pay for it.
That's going to be on my bucket list. Like, I'm going to be on radio. I'm determined. This boy, radio coming through.
Exactly.
Radio, contact me. All right. So, I want to thank you so much for being on with us today. And guys, follow the Instagram. What is my Instagram? Vanilla Spice Enterprises. Personal Lady Vanilla Bean Frap. Follow the Facebook sex_love_relationships, and we will be back with another one. And Pride Month, we are still going strong, baby. We'll be back.